back to the basement gun shop. So, we ran into some issues with the lower that I just can't believe I made those mistakes, but you know what? I'm human and I make mistakes. So, not dwelling on the issues, we're going to move on to the upper receiver and get that built out, and hopefully we'll have at least a working firearm minus a buttstock. If you didn't see the last one and you're just watching this one, for some reason I must not have been paying attention when I ordered the buffer tube, spring, and buffer kit, and I ordered a commercial spec kit instead of a mil spec kit. Well, the problem with that is I can't return the commercial spec kit because I Duracoated the buffer tube. So my only option left is to order a commercial spec Magpul MOE skeletonized buttstock, and that's pretty much what I've done. I just came downstairs from ordering that. So we're gonna put the finished lower with everything else in the gun safe, because now, according to BATF, this is a gun. I really like the way it looks with that phase 5 bolt release lever on it. I really like the way that looks. I think that just looks sharp. So we're going to put this in the gun safe, and we're going to move on to building the upper. Here's the parts on the bench that I plan on putting on the upper receiver. We have the Aero Precision upper, Midwest Industries Free Float 4N Duracoated and in pieces, along with the Duracoat job on the upper. The Let It Rain ejection port cover, which oddly enough, all the parts came in as one. Again, I guess I should have paid attention when I was ordering it. There's the C-clip, the spring, the ejection port cover, and the hinge. So I guess I ordered some spare parts. Barrel nut, Jerry Miculek compensator. Here's the forward assist assembly, Magpul angled foregrip, and the Adams Arms gas piston conversion kit. And last, but certainly not least, the Bravo Company M4 16-inch barrel. 1-in-7 twist, chrome lined. It's pretty. So we're going to start out with, we're going to get the upper in the vise block. We're going to get, actually I'm going to pull that stuff out of the Adams Arms gas piston kit, and I'm going to show you all what's in there. We're just going to sit that right here. We'll pull these handguards out of the way. They're extra parts that I will never use because I hate those handguards. You have the front gas block right here, a bolt carrier, the actual gas piston, an installation rod or dowel, steel dowel to install the bushing in the upper receiver. You have the bushing for the upper receiver and the spring for the back end of the bolt, and the end cap, barrel end cap, which I won't be using. So let's get to it. We'll do the forward assist, we'll do the ejection port cover, and then we'll move on to there. So let me reposition the camera and we'll be right back. We've got our Aero Precision upper in our Brownells vise upper receiver vise block. We'll just crank that puppy down. Now we're nice and secure. We've got this in here to make sure we don't crush the receiver. It's one of the things I really like about that. And you can take it in and out as necessary. So we're going to pull that out and move on to the forward assist assembly. Installing this is pretty simple. You just have to find the little angled part that is going to go in towards the bolt carrier. That slides in there just like that. There is a cutout portion right here for the roll pin to go through, and of course one big ass spring. you have to compress the spring, hold that in there, get a pin in there, and then get the roll pin in. So what we're going to do is we're going to size this up with an alignment pin. That'll work. It's tight because there's Duracoat in the roll pin holes. We're going to push that in. And we're going to push that in from underneath, and there's your installed forward assist, more or less. You grab a roll pin. Let's find the proper roll pin holder. Once again, a number 3S. We're going to pull this back a little bit. Grab our little ball peen hammer. Once we get that started, actually I'm going to leave that roll pin holder on there until I drive it flush. Well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And once we get that done, we'll find the right roll pin punch. There we go. And drive it the rest of the way home. And there we go. Pop this out. And there is our improperly installed, oh, there we go. Unscripted. There is our installed forward assist. So, the next part to install is the ejection port cover, because this vice block will accommodate an ejection port cover without damaging it. Simple enough. So I'm going to back the camera up because I'm going to need to move over to the bench. Alright, so let's move on to the ejection port cover. This engraved ejection port cover that says "Let It Rain." I doubt you can see that with the light. Actually came as a kit, so all the parts I ordered were extraneous. So, hey, what the hell? I got spare parts. You've got a C-clip on one end of the hinge pin, which goes to the far right, keeps it from going that way, and the what is up with that? And the barrel nut and fore end keep it from sliding out that way. So we're going to get part of this ejection port cover in there. There we go. Now the big spring goes on the ejection port cover, and the little spring goes on the body of the receiver. So you have to tension the spring before you put it on there, which is a real pain in the arse. So what I will usually do is give it a twist, and then force it's a spring, so it's flexible. Oh, and I lost it. Oh, that's okay, we'll get it again. I hate, oh. There it is. There it is. Come on. Get in the hole. And we're in. There we go. Okay, so the ejection port cover is installed, but I notice this is going to have to be tapped in a little bit because when I go to put the barrel nut on there, it's going to drive it in, so I'm going to tap it in ahead of time. Actually, I'll just use the barrel nut. We'll just screw that on there. What? There we go. There we go, and that seated that the rest of the way. You know, there are times when getting old actually is a good thing, and forgetting things actually is a good thing. I wanted to go recheck the torque specs on the barrel because I fully intended to move on to installing the barrel on this. The only problem with that is there's a bushing that needs to be installed in here for the gas piston conversion. Had I not taken a minute, had I remembered the torque specs right off the top of my head, and I just would have moved on to that, and then it would have been pretty much a damn nightmare trying to install that bushing. In fact, it would have been so bad I would have just pulled the barrel off again and just, you know, install it this way anyhow. All right, so here's what we need. Well, part of what we need, and here's the other part of what we need. We're just going to set this right down there by my bench stool, and we're going to pull this bushing out, but we're going to leave the spring in the bag, and we're going to put that back in the... All right, this gets a little hairy. Believe you me, the first time I did it, I don't know what the right word is, but we're going to put the barrel net on there to protect the threads. We're going to stand that up on end. This little bushing gets put on the end of this rod, inserted into the upper receiver, and then hammered into place in the hole where the gas tube normally comes through. It has to go in straight, and it has to go in flush, and it has to go in first time. If you get it cockeyed, you're gonna wallow out that hole, and that could potentially not be a good thing. So we're gonna take our time with installing this. I need to get a little grease. Actually, we're going to do this the same way I did the first one. Set that right there like that. Grab that, hold that. This is going to be really difficult for you to see with the lights the way they are. Trying to hold this dowel in place. Let me see if I can zoom in and you can see that. Whoop. You see where that's at? All right, that is what, oh, there we go. That's even better. Nope. Right there. That's the bushing that's milled to fit the gas piston. And getting this in place and getting it straight and right the first time is pretty critical. So let me get my glasses on. Find a hammer. All right, we're looking good at this point. So there's nothing left now but to just go for it. Oh, excellent. And if you're wondering what I'm looking at, this bushing needs to be driven until it's flush with the receiver. And we're almost there. Now, I need to go a little farther with it. This is, if you haven't figured it out by now, this is really what can go wicked wrong. This is your biggest point of foobar that you can find when you're building a piston-driven AR. So let's get this in where it needs to be. And we're in there. Okay. Looks to be seated, very swell. Very swell. There's a lot of things that I'm looking at that I can't show you on camera because I can't get the light in there and can't get the camera right up on it. I'm looking to make sure that that bushing is seated right up against the inside of the pocket that's drilled and milled for the gas tube. So we have that bushing in place, and it is right where I need it to be. So let's move on to getting the barrel installed. So we'll put this in the upper receiver vise block. And clamp this puppy down. Where's my support? Okay, and here's my barrel. So we're just going to turn this off. Pretty little M4 barrel. Even smells good. The oil that's on it, it even smells good. Now it's going to be a little tight to fit because of the Duracoat, which I don't have a problem with. So that's on there. We're going to take the barrel nut, roll this down. All right, barrel nut's on. Okay. There are so many edits in this video, it's not even funny. I'm sorry, but you know what? Sometimes things just don't go the way you planned. Here is my armorer's wrench. We've got torque wrench here. BFW torque wrench. And just a ratchet. Which obviously is going the wrong way. So we'll get this on there and we'll snug it up. All right. We need to set the torque wrench. And we need to pay attention to one very important thing. One of these little castles, one of these little indents has to line up with that hole. right there. Let me zoom in so you can see that. Oh, beautiful. Then I'll show you why in just a sec. I need to grab a part first. One of these little indents right here needs to line up perfectly with that hole so that the piston can get through here. Obviously, you see, that's not going to fly. So we'll tighten this a little more. Little bits at a time, little bits at a time. Got to make sure, if you lay that in there and it doesn't fit, tighten a little more. Now I'm using one of these pins. I'm using this pin on the armorer's wrench to line up with that, or to try and line up with that, because it's just a larger surface to look at. So we're short by probably a thousandth. Yep. So now we'll get the torque wrench. We're going to put the armorer's wrench on there. 34, 36, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50. Set that in place. And see where we're at with that. All right. So we're now looking at this one to get that lined up. There we go. And we'll bump this up to our max. I don't want to go over 80 foot-pounds. So I'm going to set it at 76. And let's check the alignment first, because we're already over the minimum. We're already over the minimum. And it looks like we're yep, we are out of alignment. So we're going to go a little bit more. And we're right in there. Slides just nice. So I'll set that off to the side. All right, so now we need the forward gas block and an Allen wrench. So let's see if we can slide that on there without marking the barrel. Oh, that's tight. first thing you want to check is, will this slide on and off the gas piston just the way it's supposed to? And it slides real nice. You can see, oh wow. Let's zoom out. Oh, nope, not in, but out. Sorry about that. You want to check the way this slides. I'm just lining up the gas port with the top of the block to make sure everything is going to slide the way I need it to. And I think there's another problem. What the hell is going on here? That slides very nice right through the upper receiver because the bushing is right where I need it to be. But are you kidding? I'm going to have to check the specs on this because something just doesn't look right to me right now. So I'll be back in a minute. I got to check some stuff and make sure all my distances are right. With the distances being off on the barrel and the gas block and the drive piston, it was because I bought a 16-inch barrel, but it has a mid-length gas system profile. So I talked about that in the Mistakes Happen video. I talked about it at the end of the lower receiver build part 2 video, so I'm not going to go through it again now. In a couple days, the new barrel and the new buttstock should be in, so we'll finish this build up and we'll get it out to the range next weekend. So until then, you know what, thanks for putting up with my mistakes. I hope you understand what happened, how I ordered the 2 wrong parts. Hey, you know what, I'm only human, whatever, mistakes happen. So, but thanks for watching the Basement Gun Shop. Like the channel, subscribe even better if you like what you're seeing. If you have any ideas for future videos, by all means, please leave them down below in the comments. And until next time, thanks again, stay safe, and keep shooting.